Most of us grew up thinking that the refrigerator is the best place to keep our food fresh and safe, and in many cases, that's true. But did you know that there are some everyday foods that actually do worse when stored in the fridge? Some foods lose their taste, others become too soft or even go bad faster. This might sound surprising, but it's something many people don't realize. The truth is, learning where to keep your food, whether in the fridge, pantry, or countertop, can help your food last longer, taste better, and even be healthier for you. This is especially important as we get older because our immune systems aren't as strong as they once were. So storing food the right way can also help prevent illness and save money by avoiding waste. In this guide, we'll take a gentle walk through some helpful tips about food storage that could make your daily meals tastier, safer, and easier to prepare. Tip 1. Why proper food storage matters, especially for seniors. As we age, small things in life can make a big difference. One of those things is how we store our food. It's not just about where things go. It's about keeping food safe, healthy, and full of flavor. Older adults may have a harder time fighting off infections, so eating fresh and properly stored food can help avoid stomach upsets and other health issues. It can also help us feel more confident in the kitchen. When food is stored correctly, it's easier to cook with and enjoy. Plus, keeping your food fresh longer means fewer trips to the store, less money wasted, and less stress. Good storage habits are a simple way to care for your health, home, and happiness. Tip 2. Foods that lose flavor and texture in the fridge. Some foods simply don't like the cold. When they go in the fridge, their texture changes and they lose their natural flavor. Take tomatoes, for example. When you refrigerate them, they often become mushy and lose that rich, juicy taste. Or bread. It dries out and gets stale much faster in the fridge. The same goes for bananas. They turn brown and soft quickly. Avocados need to ripen at room temperature first, or they'll never get soft enough to eat. And potatoes can become oddly sweet when refrigerated, which makes them taste strange when cooked. All of these foods do better when stored in a cool, dry place like a pantry or on your countertop. Keeping them in the right spot will make your meals taste much better. Tip 3. Foods that can become harmful when refrigerated. It's not just about flavor. Some foods can even become unsafe when stored in the fridge. For example, garlic can grow mold or bacteria in the fridge's moist air, especially if it's peeled or chopped. Potatoes, besides changing taste, can also produce more of a chemical called acrylamide when fried or baked after being kept cold. And that's something you want to avoid. Honey doesn't spoil, but when you put it in the fridge, it hardens and becomes difficult to use. Oils like olive oil can go thick and cloudy in the cold, making them less enjoyable. Even cut fruit, like watermelon or orange slices, can grow bacteria if not stored in a covered container. So it's important to know what belongs in the fridge and what doesn't, to keep your food safe and easy to use. Tip 4. The role of freshness in a healthy diet for seniors. As we grow older, eating fresh, nutritious food becomes even more important for our health. Fresh foods, like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins, are full of the vitamins and minerals our bodies need to stay strong, keep our minds sharp, and feel our best. When food is fresh, it has more nutrients, better taste, and is usually easier to digest. For example, a fresh orange is full of vitamin C, which helps our immune system. But if that same orange has been sitting too long or stored incorrectly, it may lose some of that goodness and even start to grow mold or dry out. Older adults may also find that they enjoy food more when it has its natural texture and taste. Fresh carrots are crisp, sweet, and satisfying to chew, while old carrots become rubbery and flavorless. When food tastes good, we're more likely to eat well and get the nutrition we need. Also, some seniors may have smaller appetites or trouble chewing and swallowing, so food that is soft, ripe, and fresh can make eating easier and more enjoyable. In short, freshness matters not just for flavor, but for your health, energy, and comfort. By paying attention to how fresh your food is and storing it the right way, you're giving your body the best support for healthy aging. Tip 5. Quick tips for storing food correctly. Storing food properly doesn't need to be difficult. With a few simple habits, you can keep your food fresher for longer, avoid waste, and keep your kitchen safer and more organized. Here are some gentle and helpful tips. Don't put everything in the fridge. Some foods, like tomatoes, bananas, and bread, actually go bad faster in the cold. Keep these on the counter or in a cool cupboard instead. Use clear containers with lids. This helps you see what leftovers or fruits you have, keeps out air and moisture, and makes things easier to grab. Label your leftovers with the date you made them. That way, you won't forget how long they've been in the fridge, and you'll know when it's time to eat them or toss them. Put newer food behind older food in your fridge and pantry. This helps you use the older items first, so they don't go to waste. Keep fruits and vegetables separate. Some fruits, like apples, release a gas that can make nearby veggies spoil faster. Use your freezer wisely. If you have more food than you'll eat in a few days, freeze some of it. Frozen soup, bread, or berries can last for months. These little changes can help you feel more confident in the kitchen and keep your food fresh and ready whenever you need it. Tip 6. Common mistakes to avoid in food storage. Even the most experienced cooks can make small mistakes when it comes to storing food. But the good news is, once you know what these common mistakes are, they're easy to fix. And by avoiding them, you can keep your food fresher, safer, and more enjoyable to eat. One mistake many people make is putting too much food in the fridge. When the fridge is packed tightly, the cold air can't move around properly. This means some foods won't stay cold enough, and they might spoil sooner than expected. It's helpful to leave a little space between items so the air can circulate and everything stays at the right temperature. Another common slip-up is leaving food uncovered, whether it's leftovers from dinner or cut-up fruits and vegetables. If they're not sealed or covered, they can dry out, pick up smells from other foods, or even grow bacteria. Always use containers with tight-fitting lids or cover dishes with a plate or wrap. A lot of people also put hot food straight into the fridge, thinking they're saving time. But when hot food goes into the fridge too soon, it can raise the temperature inside, which affects the other items nearby. It's better to let the food cool down on the counter for about 20-30 minutes before putting it away. Some items, like potatoes and onions, need to be stored separately. When kept together, they release gases that can make each other spoil faster. Store them in a cool, dark place, like a pantry, but not side by side. And finally, many of us forget to check expiration dates, especially on things like salad dressings, milk, or condiments in the back of the fridge. It's a good habit to look through your fridge or pantry once a week and see what needs to be used up or what should be thrown out. These may sound like small things, but avoiding these little mistakes can save you money, keep your food tasting better, and help you avoid accidentally eating something that's gone bad. Tip 7. How to make food last longer without refrigeration. While the fridge is helpful, it's not always the answer for every food item. In fact, some foods actually last longer and taste better when they are not kept in the fridge. Knowing where different foods belong can help you make the most of your groceries and reduce waste. Take bananas, for example. If you put them in the fridge too early, their skin turns brown quickly and they stop ripening properly. It's better to keep bananas on the kitchen counter and only refrigerate them once they're ripe, to make them last a few extra days. Tomatoes are another food that don't like the cold. When they're stored in the fridge, they lose their flavor and can become mealy. Keep them in a bowl at room temperature, and they'll stay juicy and delicious. Potatoes and onions do best in a cool, dry place, like a cupboard or a basket in a pantry. Don't put them in plastic bags because they need to breathe. Paper bags or open baskets work best. Also, remember not to store them together. Bread is another common item that doesn't need the fridge. It can go stale more quickly when kept cold. Instead, keep a small portion out in a bread box or cupboard and freeze the rest in slices so you can toast them when needed. Herbs like parsley or cilantro can be kept fresh by placing their stems in a glass of water on the counter, just like a bouquet of flowers. Cover the top loosely with a plastic bag and they'll stay good for days without needing the fridge. These simple tricks can make your food last longer, save space in your fridge, and help you waste less. It's all about knowing which foods prefer room temperature and which ones truly need the cold. Tip 8. Environmental and financial benefits of smart food storage. You might not think much about where your leftovers go or what happens to that old bag of lettuce in the back of your fridge. But the way we store food really does make a big difference, both for our wallets and the world around us. Let's start with the financial side. Food isn't cheap these days. Every little bit counts, especially when you're on a fixed income or watching your budget. Now imagine buying fresh fruit or vegetables, storing them incorrectly, and then having to throw them away because they've spoiled. That's like throwing away money. But when you learn to store things the right way, like keeping apples away from bananas or storing bread in the freezer, you waste less food. That means you're getting your money's worth from every grocery trip. Over time, these little savings can really add up. Even saving $5 or $10 a week means a few $100s back in your pocket every year. Then there's the environmental part, which is just as important. When food is wasted, it doesn't just disappear. It ends up in landfills, where it takes up space and produces harmful gases like methane. Growing and transporting food also uses a lot of water, energy, and fuel. So when food goes bad before it's eaten, all those resources go to waste too. But by storing your food properly, like keeping herbs in a jar of water on the counter or not refrigerating tomatoes, you help prevent that waste. That means you're doing something good for the earth, just by making a few smart choices in your kitchen. And here's another bonus. When you store food properly, you don't need to go shopping as often. That saves you gas, time, and energy, things that are especially valuable as we get older and don't want to run to the store every other day. It's not about doing more work. It's about doing things a little smarter so life becomes easier. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need fancy equipment. All you need is a little knowledge, and maybe some containers or baskets you already have at home. Being thoughtful about food storage is a quiet, powerful way to help yourself, help your family, and help the planet, all at the same time. It's easy to feel overwhelmed with advice about food, health, and household tips. But here's the truth. You don't have to change everything overnight. Small steps can lead to big improvements, and every little bit you do makes a difference. Think of it like tidying up a garden. You don't pull all the weeds or plant every flower in one day. You do it a little at a time. Maybe today you decide to start labeling leftovers with the date. Maybe tomorrow you clear out the fridge and throw out expired items. Next week, you might try storing onions and potatoes separately. These small habits, once they become part of your routine, can save you money, reduce waste, and make cooking and eating more enjoyable. And these changes don't just help you, they can set a good example for your children, your grandchildren, or even your neighbors. Imagine passing on these simple, smart tips to your family. It's a way of sharing your wisdom, keeping traditions alive, and showing care for the world they'll live in. So take heart. You're already doing so much just by being thoughtful about your food and home. With a few gentle adjustments, you can stretch your food, protect your health, and make your home more comfortable and efficient. You don't need to do it all at once, just start where you are, because in the end, it's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about making the most of what you have, using your resources wisely, and enjoying the peace of mind that comes from knowing you're taking care of yourself and the world around you. Little by little, smart food storage can bring you more ease, more savings, and more joy at the table.